Alright, and here we are at Hochst. Turn 13 just ended. I'll push this forward. I gotta check this leader. So things opened up with the center infantry pushing forward. No real engagement, just chasing away the couple scattered cav, mainly with the light infantry. They didn't want to get themselves into a situation where they're getting shot at by the lights. And then the heavies followed up. So you can see pretty much the lights are just there as a screen at this point. This thing, some routed cav that couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do anything, gets off the board. The one thing that happened of importance was the leader of the cav wing over there was whacked. He was on a damaged unit, and I don't remember, it was the heavy infantry here that hit him. It's now in formation broken because of it. I left them there because Tilly can go fix that while the rest of the unit pushed on and kind of cleared the way. The cav has an open route now to get off the board. I had some slight worries about, geez, what happens if the Protestants just march up and take all that artillery back? And that would be bad, but it would take some time, and they would be getting shot at going in, so they might not make it anywhere. They might be getting more points by withdrawing. It would kind of represent an unreasonable situation. I mean, if they spike the guns and you consider them destroyed, it's fine, but they're leaving the battlefield. They don't have a way to get those cannons as truly captured, but yeah, the ignominy of losing them. What else? Okay, then Cordova's center, or right wing, comes in, and here too we see he had to move this unit, and it's kind of a messy pile I gotta fix. Formation shaken to get, it became formation shaken because of the terrain, to get this unit to come in, chase away some more cav. But before that happened, I launched cav across at the rear of this thing, which was trying to get out of the way. That forced it into hedgehog. Something good happens whenever you put cav in the rear of an infantry. It either turns into hedgehog or it fails a morale check. So it's almost always a good idea to slap a cav at the back of any infantry unit just to try to scare it. Elsewhere, we see we're turning the other open. We got this guy kind of pushing forward to face Cordova. He couldn't really swing down and face the other units. So my guess is Cordova's not going to make it off the board. He's going to be sufficient to prevent the Protestants from doing anything too exciting. The rest of the force is just going to march right off the board, I think. They've got 2 more turns to do it. This unit may not make it. And let's check our leader just for shits and giggles. Yeah, he's getting replaced. I don't know where we'll put him. Probably down here. Try to harass that stuff. I don't know. There really aren't very many good opportunities left here. Alright, well that puts us on turn 14 then. I'll clean up some of the issues. Turn 14 turned into quite a bit of chaos. Let's see what we got. First of all, the heavy infantry wing, and you can see one of the units moved out, moved forward. I forgot about those lights. They're not worth anything to exit, so I was keeping them on the map. And then the cav started moving into place to do so. Now, the Protestant infantry went into charge and hit the flank of Cordova's units, ran into this one unit, or Cordova and actually the main infantry center of where Tilly is. Well, the first one hit and it was just destroyed. It disintegrated, hitting a flank shot. Big quality units, a little positional advantage doesn't do much in a bad die. Well, there was like a -1 on it total. And it was not a good die roll. It just disintegrated the unit. This other one came forward and hit and did a little better, I guess, but in that it survived. Ooh, I forgot about this unit. This poor guy is still stuck in hedgehog, and he's probably going to be there all game. And then the cav came sweeping down off the hill, going into formation shaken, which some of it was still back here, which puts it on kind of equal terms with this cav, and just slammed into it to try to delay this movement forward so that they can't make it over next turn. Interceptions, a kind of wild little cav battle. Overall, I think the Catholics got the better of it. They destroyed one cav unit, routed a couple others up here. You have kind of a mess. It's not enough to delay everything, but some of it maybe won't make it off at this point. Although there's definitely a cost to it. I gotta figure out what to do with this guy. But otherwise, I just got normal cleanup. The final cav back there kind of had to hit Cordoba's unit in the flank. Now, they didn't have to actually proceed with the charge. They just had to march up towards it. But they went with the whole thing, and it wasn't too bad in terms of the odds. I think it came down to like a 0 or a -1. Some chance. I think a 0, actually, with momentum and everything. If those are... yeah. But you can see they were routed away. But, you know, knocking out a big unit or routing it or whatever would have been very valuable. So I think it was worth the chance given what we're in and not much other choice. Alright, that's the end of the turn. I got these routes to pull off the board and flip some units, and that's it. Well, at the end of 15, the battle's pretty much decided at this point because this is the last turn that the Catholics could withdraw from the map. We sent 4 cav units charging across. Everything else was damaged by the Protestants or having trouble making it across. Tilly and Montagne ended up trying to rally units, but there just isn't enough time. I ended up getting one continuation, whatever. Didn't get a second one, though. But even with the second one, I wouldn't have been able to move more units off the board. This guy could only go 1 hex. These guys were both at least formation shaken, which means they could only go 3 hexes. So that's kind of the end there. Now it's the Protestants' job to try to get out of there. If we look at Cordoba's front, he had some units behind here. He tried to do an attack on this, figuring, well, that thing's going to be able to recover and eventually just walk away unless I do something. Well, that attack didn't work. Everything got flung back across the river. I still got fire coming from this. But for the most part, you know, it's funny that that heavy infantry was so scared of the cav that they locked themselves into a hedgehog. And that would waste 3 activations to get out of. But when actually attacked in the rear, formation broken by that cav, it wasn't enough. Oh well. Alright. Yeah, now we'll just see what we can extricate. But it looks like the Protestants are doing much, much worse than historically. And I think I would have been fine if I hadn't advanced with them to the river to try to throw the Spaniards back. It felt like a mistake when I did it, and that as soon as I saw what happened when I did it, it obviously was. Oh well. Turn 16 opened up with the Catholic center moving. Now, before they did anything, they found they had some firing opportunities on a Protestant infantry, the heavy that had moved here. Extreme range, but they managed to break its formation up, which made it easier for an assault on them, and that destroyed, actually, the heavy infantry. It was at about +4 on the attack. We also have the lights moving up and chasing away this cav. That was broken, so it couldn't actually withdraw, but it's routed now from gunfire. I don't know where we're going next. It looks like that heavy infantry command up there, that one unit. And nothing really changes as we move into turn 17. 2 more turns to go. See what the Protestants can get off the board. It's not going to be this, but they do have a couple of cav units. This guy's in rally. He actually could reform here. See if we can get guys, you know, any more points there, but for the most part, this battle is over. Well, end of turn 16 and all the Protestants are gone. The cav and light infantry were cav. Oh no, there's still this one here. Uh-oh. Well, I still got to rally Cordoba's unit then. I forgot about him. Yeah, but other than that, everything's gone. The only question is, can these be destroyed? So, well, I'll do Cordoba in another turn. This guy doesn't really matter. I'll roll for him now because he is essentially dead, but he's just a colonel, so he doesn't count for anything. Alright, I'll finish up Cordoba's command, who's in rally right now, so he's not doing much. Well, Cordoba switched into a make-ready formation and was able to actually hit with each unit separately. First this unit, then this one came swinging in along with the cav. He eliminated the Protestant unit there, so another dead unit down. Yes, some of these are a little weary, but that's it. Now we cleared them off. We got rid of the last leader, another colonel. We don't have to worry about him. Time to score. Yeah, I'll come back with the scoring, and I don't know if I have any thoughts at the end of the battle. I certainly know that I screwed up by moving the Protestants forward. We'll see how much it hurts, but I'm pretty sure that this is going to be a Catholic victory. Well, yeah. 410 points for the Catholics, 118 for the Protestants, which puts us down to 292. That's a decisive Catholic victory, as opposed to the historical, which was a decisive Protestant with a negative 70 differential. Wow. Now, the historical says the Protestants lost nothing. That means not even a strength point off of a unit other than their musketeers. We can see all they managed to get off in this game was one unit. Historically, they must have basically been able to hold the Catholics from getting anything off except here, and then pull everything out on their own. They could, of course, have given up all those musketeers, which is a kind of weird thing because, you know, those strength points of musketeers do count for something, but they don't count for victory points. Always been something that kind of disturbs me in the game. In most of the scenarios, you can kind of say, okay, they're just some light troops. But, you know, honestly, these are probably some of the best trained troops. And maybe they're dispersing or whatever, but in this scenario, if you're losing them in some all-out defense in this area, I don't know how much they're dispersing and how much they're actually getting killed providing a rear guard. Likewise, if they're actually assaulting, well, they're not going to be assaulting. They're not allowed to assault anything except other musketeers. So there's probably a low casualty rate on them. But still, feels like, you know, when you take the amount of losses, I mean, this cup is filled with Protestant musketeers and a few Catholic ones. There's got to be a significant amount of death in there as well. Even if you say, hey, 90% of them survive, they would still count a few points towards the game. Maybe an abstraction that doesn't need to be worried about. Anyway, that's it for this one, and I'm probably going to take a little break from musket and pike and go to another game briefly. I don't like to play the same system every time, although I am kind of intrigued by the idea. With a weekend coming up, seems best. All right, up it goes.